What's up, everybody? I'm Apollo. Welcome to another edition of Late Great Game Reviews. This week I am reviewing Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, the Dawnguard DLC for Skyrim. Played the game about 2 years ago when it came out. Came out back in fall of 2011, I believe. And Dawnguard was the first DLC for Skyrim. Came out originally in July 2012 I'm playing it on the PS3, and because of all the problems with the PS3 version of Skyrim, obviously there was huge problems. The Dawnguard didn't come out until, along with the other two DLCs, didn't come out until spring of 2013. So yeah, let's jump right into it. It's about 10 hours long, 10 to 12 hours of gameplay, I'd say. The basic premise is the word of this DLC is vampires. You can turn into a vampire in this one. Actually, I believe you could turn into the vampire if I recall correctly. Again, bear with me because it's been 2 years since I played the original game, but I believe you could. I remember turning into a werewolf in the original game, and I believe you could turn into a vampire as well. But at this one, you can turn into a vampire lord, which is this crazy figure where you can use all these different abilities. Like you get even as a vampire, you can get a new skill tree as well. You get a new skill tree. You also get abilities like the ability to instantly transport or turn into a swarm of bats and teleport away from danger. You can suck the life out of enemies and then reanimate their corpses and have them fight for you. Pretty cool. You can also and you're also way more powerful as a vampire. And the sunlight, you won't burn up in the sunlight, but you will. Basically, you'll need to feed after a while. But what's interesting is that the sunlight, although it kind of weakens your weakens your stamina a bit, like it won't regenerate as fast. You do actually become more powerful the longer you go without feeding. It's kind of an interesting balance. But yeah, the basic story is the guy that turns you into a vampire, Lord Harkin. He's trying. Well, he can turn you into a vampire. I'll get to that in a minute. But Lord Harkin, this head vampire, he wants to be able to basically control the sun, the only enemy that the vampires see that they have. And the Dawnguard, the Dawnguard, they are the vampire slayers, and you can basically choose to fight for either one of these factions. The missions will stay they'll stay fundamentally the same, but there will be little small different changes that you'll see depending on which faction you decide to fight for. It's pretty cool. You get new companions too, like Serana. She's a vampire. She's a vampire. I'm trying to make this spoiler free as I can. So she's another vampire who will help you. And she's a companion. You can also get different companions. Like there's a Dawnguard dog that you can use, Bran, as a companion. You can also get an armored troll, which is really cool. The Dawnguard use the armored trolls as defense against vampires. There's some new explorable areas as well. The Forgotten Vel, Darkfall Passage. Can't remember the other name of the other big area right there, but Forgotten Vel is without a doubt the most gorgeous of the three big new areas. There's a few other smaller areas, to explore, but Forgotten Vel is definitely the biggest. Oh, the Soul Cairn, that's the other one. It's a cool sort of other dimensional type place. It's pretty cool. There are definitely some cool new environments in this place. Forgotten Vale is the biggest and the most beautiful. It's like a winter wonderland of waterfalls in the snow. It's really pretty. You actually have a fight with 2 dragons in it. I'm not going to go any further than that, but it's pretty awesome what they do with it. You also go into some history about one race of Skyrim, one of the races of elves of Skyrim that have been altered over time, and you get to see a little bit more of that, and it's pretty cool. New companions. If you're gonna, like I said, you can fight for either the Dawnguard or the vampires, and I guess the vampire, if you go with the vampire route, that has more content. Just because you can turn into the vampire, like I said, you have this, a skill tree and all these different cool abilities. But at the same time, I found the vampire route a little bit more maddening to go through the whole story from beginning to end. The DLC story from beginning to end, just because I don't know why exactly either. I can't pinpoint the reason because I was supposed to be more powerful as a vampire, and I was because you can, like I said, you can drain enemies, bring them back, all that, and you can also use melee attacks with your claws. Um, but for some reason, like going in the different dungeons and fighting the skeletons and stuff, I was dying a lot more as a vampire, whereas where I just stayed like my normal character when I was fighting for the Dawnguard on my second playthrough. It was just my normal character that I used throughout my entire the entire main game of Skyrim. I was going through it much more quickly. I mean, and it's not like it was a navigational thing or anything, like I didn't know where to go. It was just I was getting through the enemies way quicker, dying less. I don't know what that was about. It's kind of be ironic if the vampires were less powerful, but like I said, they're more powerful, so it was weird. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. It's a solid DLC. There's a decent amount of side quests. There's not a ton. This also costs $20, which is really steep for a DLC. One of the most, maybe the most expensive DLC I've seen. Well, at least one of the most expensive DLCs I've ever seen. Especially because it's been out for like, over a year on the PS3. Even it's closer to 2 years when it's just been out like period. So it's a little strange that it's that expensive. Like I said, it's 10 or 12 hours of gameplay, new areas, new companions, and all that. I'm not sure if it's worth $20 though. I maybe 15. It's not. I know that's not a huge difference, but just it's a steep price. Still though, if you really are into Skyrim, as I was, I logged in like over 130 hours in the initial game, and if you're really into Skyrim, I would definitely check this out. There's a whole bunch of new stuff to see. Um, new quests, new good stuff, more Skyrim. So if you're really into it, definitely check it out. I'm gonna give Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Dawnguard DLC. That is a long title. I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. This has been Late Great Game Reviews. I'm Apollo. I will see you guys and girls next week.